welcome to video number 2 of our 10-part video series, where we will be discussing how to prepare effectively for your examinations. So in this video, we will look at tip number 2, which is about organizing your notes. I'm not going to touch too much on why it's important to do that and go into too much details with regards to that, but I will point out that if you are going to study and all your notes are in chaos, you don't know what you have, you don't know what you don't have, you are going to find yourself missing out on a lot of things and not quite knowing whether you've covered everything or not. And that's why this is a very important tip. It's something which you definitely want to make sure you get right and that you do it now before you start studying rather than start studying and then you've got to backtrack. Okay, so looking at the next slide, I've said, what do you have, right? So generally, this is what will constitute the makeup of a lot of students' study materials. So you've got your chat letters from your university, then you've got past papers. Your study support service providers would have given you questions. You've got your textbooks. If you are doing any private tuition, you might get questions from them. There might be other sources of questions which you might have either bought or downloaded or off the internet. So needless to say, you have a variety of different sources and of notes. And while that is good on some level, the main problem with this is that when it comes to your exam time, you are already strapped for time. And having a whole bunch of notes that you've got to now go through in addition to the actual content of your work just makes your life a bit harder. So you need to make sure that you've identified all the different sources of material which you have and that you actually know what you're going to go through and what you're not going to go through. In the ideal sense, you'd want to go through everything, but you do need to make sure that you balance this entire thing. And you don't want to be looking back and realizing that you've just missed out on a whole chunk of questions which came from one of your tuition support services because you just everything's a mess. And that's normally how it goes when you are studying. I know your notes will be lying all over the place, your files will be all over the place. You don't really know what you have and what you don't have. And even as you watch this video now, if I had to ask you to write down on a piece of paper that, okay, if you're studying for a particular module, whichever one you've decided to study, do you know exactly what notes you have? Do you know where they are? Have you filed them? Have you organized them? Most students would say no, and this is where a big problem with the mindset is, because a lot of students feel that quantity is better, so they'll download past papers and a whole variety of examination material from all different sources, but then you overwhelm yourself because you've got to now go through this and you don't have the time to do it, and half the time you even forget about what you have and what you don't have. So we're going to look at making sure that you don't wind up in that trap. So I would say the first thing that you want to do is you want to file. Right, so all the notes which you have, for example, if you are studying taxation or auditing, get yourself a file for the module and store all of your notes relating to that module in a file. Right, a separate file, it's worth spending the money on it. This is not one of those times which you want to try and minge out on your stationery and your filing supplies. Then I've set color code per module. So obviously, it's just that it makes it a lot easier when you are actually going through your notes and when you actually are hunting for your files. If you know taxation is blue, for example, auditing might be yellow, financial management might be green. Whatever you decide to color code it as, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, having this system is something which will work. You could even do it with your past papers. You could decide that your past papers will be in a separate file and you're going to color code those. as well. But you need to make sure that you have everything in place so that you've got a structure and that you actually know what you have and what you don't have. So that by the time you are done studying, you can actually measure your progress because you've seen what you have to work through and how far you are with it. And also so that you can actually make sure that you've gotten through enough of the work. You don't want to go wind up in a point where you've gone through one question bank for one of the modules and you think that's all you have, and later on you actually find a huge set of files which you completely forgot that you had. Another thing that works, and it works very well for me, is computerizing your notes. And I've done this with a lot of success because everything is in one place and you know where to organize your things, you know where to keep it. You can change the stuff as you need to. You don't really lose it because you can always just print it out. So having computerized notes is a good idea as well, but that's up to you, whichever way works for you. But these are three of the ways which I would suggest you actually go forth with your approach in organizing your notes. And as I said, you want to do this before you've actually started studying, because if you do this afterwards, trust me, you're going to end up backtracking and you're just going to push up your stress levels. And that just makes everything way worse than it needs to be. So that's it for this video. Like I said, they're generally going to be a lot shorter now than the first video. If you liked it, please do share it with anyone who you feel will be able to benefit from it. And please comment in the comment section below. Please subscribe to our channel so that you will receive notifications the moment we upload any new videos. You do want to make sure that you absorb as much information as possible. We do have a lot of information to give. So please do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button, and as well as clicking on the bell icon and making sure that you are kept up to date, that you're not out of the loop, and that the moment you upload something, you receive a notification of it. So that's it for this video. Really hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with the studying going forward.